Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade, and well guys, in this one I wanted to talk about trinkets for Retribution Paladins in patch 10.1. So I don't think anyone has done a video specific for us, so I think it's a good idea to do it today. So I'll be ranking each trinket on a score of 1 to 10, and I'll also be giving my thoughts on each one. With that being said, let's start with the video. Okay guys, so let's start first with the Mythic Plus trinkets, and let's start with the Battle for Azeroth. So the only dungeon that drops a trinket from here is the Underrot. Underrot has the Vial of Animated Blood. This trinket is pretty strong. I would say it's one of the strongest unused trinkets that we can use this patch. It has a really odd cooldown. It's 1.5 minute cooldown, which is, you can treat this trinket as a 2-minute trinket. You know, you don't have to use it every 1.5 minutes. You could use it every 2 minutes and just bind it with a macro to your wings or something. You know, the trinket is strong because it gives you main stat mastery. Well, mastery is not the best stat for us. It's technically, it gives you the same damage as versatility would give you. The only thing is that it doesn't come with the extra damage reduction. Even though mastery is a really good stat. The unused is pretty powerful. It gives you a bunch of strength that decays over 18 seconds. So every 6 seconds it will give you a little less strength, but still it's a powerful trinket for us to use and just bind it to our wings. So I'm gonna give this trinket a 9 out of 10. Pretty powerful. I think every Retribution Paladin should look for this trinket next patch as your on-use option. It's pretty strong. Okay, now let's go to the next dungeon. Okay, so for the next trinket, we're going to go to the Legion era in the Neltharian's Lair. There's only one trinket to talk here, and this is the Mark of Dragul. It's a pretty simple trinket. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. It just gives you critical strike on its main stat, and you have a chance to do physical damage in front of you to all your enemies. It's a pretty simple, just put this thing on and it will do some damage. You know, it's not really powerful. It does physical damage, so it's diminished by armor that mobs had, so it's not going to do the 13k it says here. It's going to do like about 30% less of that. Also, this trinket is not fully uncapped AoE. Blizzard actually changed most of the trinkets from Legion that had uncapped AoE damage and made them do less damage with numbers of targets. So it's a pretty decent trinket, 6 out of 10. If you get it and you don't have anything else, you could use this. Now let's go to the next dungeon. Okay, so for the next dungeons, we have a lot of the Dragonflight era dungeons. So first of all, let's talk about House of Infusion. There is a really powerful trinket here that is this Iridius Fragment. So this trinket has basically the same idea as the trinket from Underrot. It gives you a bunch of strength when you use it. It has also mastery as its main stat, which I already said it's a pretty decent stat to have. The strength from this trinket is massive, but it also has a very long cooldown. It's a 3-minute cooldown trinket, so you just bind it to your wings and you can use it whenever you see fit. You know, the strength that this will give you is more than the Vial of Animated Blood, but like I said, it has a long cooldown, so I'm gonna give this trinket an 8 out of 10. It's powerful, but I think the long cooldown makes it less flexible than the Vial of Animated Blood. Now let's go to the next trinket. Okay, the next one is from Notary. So Mutated Mammoth Scale. This is another one of those trinkets that just does damage and it gives you like main stat strength. Okay, so the damage it does, it's not really high. It's also damage split between targets. Historically, Retribution Paladins don't like trinkets that don't give you raw stats. You know, we don't really work very well with trinkets that just do damage. Although now that we use versatility as one of our main stats, maybe this trinket could see some play, but I'm still thinking that we're going to go for a raw stat options for our like passive option trinket. So I'm gonna give this trinket just a 6 out of 10. Not bad if you get it, you know, you just use it if you don't have anything else. Now let's go to the next dungeon. Okay, let's go to the next dungeon, and this one is Uldaman, Legacy of Cheer. And here we have a trinket that's pretty gimmicky. I don't think this is going to be even close to our biz. It's an unused trinket that has a 2-minute cooldown. When you use it, you call the Lost Dwarves to rain down cannon fire at your location, doing fire damage split between your targets. It's nothing special. I would give this trinket a 4 out of 10. If you really don't have anything else to use as your on-use option, you could use this thing and it's just gonna do some damage for you. You know, it's nothing special, just a kind of a whatever gimmicky trinket. Now let's go to the next dungeon. Okay, for the next dungeon we have Dragonflight Howl. We have the Frenzy Signal Flare. This trinket actually looks pretty decent, but it is pretty unreliable since you can read the effect. Your abilities have a low chance to summon a null ally that will do physical damage to your target. It will also poison your target for nature damage, and it will increase your highest secondary stat for like a bunch, you know, for 20 seconds. Both effects are good, but normally when you have a trinket you want to get like a specific effect, and having this do like single target damage on one thing and or give you stats for when you want to do AoE damage is like inconsistent. So just because of that, I'm gonna give this trinket 5 out of 10. Nothing special, a bit inconsistent, pretty gimmicky, but if you don't have anything else, you can use this thing, you know, it's just gonna do its damage. Okay, now let's go to the raid trinkets. Okay, here we are with raid trinkets. So historically, raid trinkets aren't that good all the time for Retribution Paladins. Most of them are pretty gimmicky and don't see a lot of play. But sometimes there are really powerful trinkets from raid. We also have seen that. In Novaris, the Shadow Crucible, we have some of them that are kind of like whatever, and there are some of them that are really powerful. And let's start with the Beacon from Beyond. So this trinket gives you main stat Mastery, which is not bad. Like I said, Mastery is a pretty decent stat for us. When you use it, it will drop just a bomb that does a bunch of damage split between enemies. It has a weird cooldown of 2.5 minutes. So I would give this trinket a 6 out of 10. It's nothing special, you just use it, you do the damage, and you move on with your day. If you get it, you won't be sad, you will be doing some damage, but I wouldn't see this thing as something bis or anything close to that. Let's go to the next trinket. Okay, so the next trinket is the Elementium Pocket Amble. This thing is actually pretty decent, but it's better for single target situations than it is for AoE. It does have an AoE component, and you can actually use this trinket in combination with another on-use option. The effect of this trinket won't put your main trinket on cooldown, like you can see here. I'm gonna use it. It has a small cast time of 0.5 seconds, but you can actually macro both trinkets together. If you spam the key a lot of times, you will get the effect of both things at the same time, so you can just keep on with your rotation and just use both trinkets at the same time. Okay, so what does this trinket do? Basically, it's a passive option, which does single targets shallow flame damage. Whenever you use your Templar strikes or Crusading strike, you have a chance to do that shallow flame damage. When you use the effect, you know, every 1 minute, you will make your shallow flame damage do 20% more, and you will also make it do a small part of AoE damage to nearby targets. So it gets a small like AoE effect. It's not really strong. I did a key with a freehold with this trinket. It did like 2.5% of my damage, so nothing super special in Mythic Plus dungeons. I think this is more of a raid trinket for single target fights, because then it's going to do a lot because it's more tailored for that type of encounters. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10. It's pretty decent. I think single target may be useful in tyrannical weeks. Okay, now let's go to the next trinket. Ominious Chromatic Essence. This is this raid's basic statistic trinket. It works similarly to how Icon did in the previous raid, giving you some secondary stats and also giving your allies some of it as well. The good thing about this trinket is, unlike the Icon, you can actually choose the stat you want between haste, crit, versatility, mastery, and there's even the option to get the 4 stats together, although split 4 ways. How this trinket works is, well, you pick your stat by going to a shrine in different parts of the Dragon Isles, and well, that's it. You attune, you use the trinket when you get there, and you pick a stat depending on what Dragonflight flight actually you are picking, you know. I'll give this trinket an 8 out of 10. It's just a decent statistic that is simple to get since it's not very rare. Okay guys, so the next trinket is the Zakalik House Grapple. So this trinket is very gimmicky. I don't think this is going to be good, but it does have a very special effect that I'm going to show you right now. It has main stat strength, and it says use a hurl to grapple 20 yards to impale your target doing physical damage, and you will go towards them with tremendous force. On impact, you will do volcanic damage split between nearby enemies. It has a 1.5 minute cooldown. You can actually use this as mobility. Since let's do the test here. So I'm gonna target that target dummy, the training dummy, and I'm gonna use the trinket. You actually jump to your target. It's a targeted jump, which is pretty damn good. You know, maybe there's a fight where there's a knock up and or something like that paladins normally have a bit of a problem to deal with if we don't have bubble up. So maybe this trinket can be useful on those types of fights, just to help us with a bit of mobility. But in a Mythic Plus setting, and if you're looking for damage, I don't think this is gonna be the play. I think I'm gonna give this, for practical uses, it's only gonna get a 6 out of 10 from me. I don't think it's nothing special. It's just a gimmicky weird trinket that can help in specific fights if there are knockbacks. So now let's go to the other two very rare trinkets. Okay guys, now let's talk about these very rare options. These are the types of trinkets that you never see them drop. You normally get them from the vault. So first one is Neltharion's Call to Chaos. This trinket is really damn strong. It has critical strike as its main stat, which is good for us Retribution Paladins. We like critical strike. We do get less value from it because a lot of our stuff already is guaranteed to critical strike all the time, but still, it's a pretty decent stat to have. Your area of effect, spells, and abilities have a chance to grant you a bunch of strength and increase your damage received by 5% for 18 seconds. It lasts for a very long time, 18 seconds for a buff. That is just a passive. I did some testing and this thing has like a 35 to 40% uptime, which is pretty damn good. The extra 5% damage received is not very important for us because we are really damn tanky, so it doesn't really matter. The abilities that can actually proc this for us are Blade of Justice, the ticks from Consecration that when you drop your Blade of Justice also proc them, Final Reckoning procs this, Wake of Ashes does it, and Divine Storm does it. So even in single target situations, you are going to be able to proc this trinket with a Blade of Justice and the Consecration whenever you drop that, also with your Wake of Ashes and your Final Reckoning. You know, so this trinket not only has AoE value, it has also some single card value, so you're not going to be losing on much if you pick this trinket as your passive option. It's really powerful. I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. If you get this, use it. It's gonna be really strong. Now let's go to the next trinket. Okay, the last trinket we're going to be talking about is the Screaming Black Dragon Scale. This is a callback to the Dragon Scale from the Nile Water raid. In that version, Raytheon dropped the scale and it did basically the same thing. It gave you a strength trinket that has a proc that gives you critical strike. This one also comes with added leech, and it has an on use that is a 3-minute cooldown ability that it really doesn't matter for this trinket. You're never gonna use this in a practical setting to get the damage or anything like that. So call upon the Echo of Neltharion's power to crash to the ground below, dealing Shadow Flame damage to nearby enemies if you have traveled at least 15 yards. So you have to first of all be in the air and being able to travel 15 yards to get at least the damage from this trinket. So that's not gonna happen as a Retribution Paladin. Maybe a Demo Hunter or a Monk can get this if they like use an ability to get airborne and then like land and move 15 yards. But as a Retribution Paladin, that doesn't really matter. The proc of this is really strong. It has about a 50 to 55% uptime, which is really high for a proc. It gives you a offensive and defensive benefits, with critical strike being offensive, and leech is really good for us because we can double dip on the leech because we do a lot of healing on other people, so we're gonna get extra healing for us because of that. So it's a really solid trinket. If you get this or you get the Neltharion's Call to Chaos, you can pick between one of them, the one that gives you most damage in it, I guess, but both are really good options. I would rank the Screaming Black Dragon Shard a 9 out of 10. And well guys, there you have it, all the trinkets of the next patch ranked it on a scale of 1 to 10. There are a lot of gimmick trinkets this season. We don't really also have like a perfect on use option as well. We only have that 1.5 minute trinket from Underrot, or the 3-minute cooldown one from House of Infusion. Both great options, but not really perfect, you know. And well, that's gonna be the end of the video. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about the trinkets this season? And well, if you like my content, subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Thanks for watching, everyone.